So green manuring is nothing but it is it is a practice of plowing in the green plant tissue grown in the field or adding green plants with tender twigs or leaves from outside and incorporating them into the soil for improving the physical structure as well as the fertility of the soil. This sentence doesn't make it clear, isn't it? But what it is, green manuring is what this is a very traditional method of farming by the farmers. Okay, you must be knowing that in Marathi it is called as antarpik. When you sow the seeds of the main cash crop, along with that, in between the two cash crops rows, we have to plant these green manuring crops such as dhencha is there. The dhencha is the name of the common name of that plant, which is adding more nitrogen to the soil. That is nothing but a green manuring crop. So what happens? These are leaves which are defoliated, or after attaining a particular height of that plant is that dhencha plant is it is uprooted and it is buried in the soil so that the main cash crop gets the nitrogen and all other nutrients which will be good for the yield of the main cash crop. So it improves the physical structure as well as the fertility of the soil. What adds to the nitrogen or other components such as macronutrients, phosphorus, potassium, and all those things? They are nothing but the twigs and the leaves of that particular plant. There are certain plants which we are going to see it further, which are incorporating more nutrition to the main cash crop or to the soil. Cash crop in the sense it will this nitrogen and all the macro as well as the micronutrients which will be buried into the soil. It will be uptaked by the plant, isn't it? So that is nothing but the green manuring use of the plants. So you can see this denture plant where the farmer is growing it on the main as a main cash crop, and he will after attaining a particular height and the leaves, these plants will be uprooted and they will be buried in the main cultivated area. So turning of these crops directly into the field. This is a tractor you can see. After attaining a particular height, these plants are uprooted and they are uh, kept in the soil. And after that, a tractor comes and he will start the plowing process. Plowing means in Marathi it is called as nangarne. And due to that plowing process, the upper part of that soil will be buried inside the in that earth, which will add nutrition to the soil and automatically simultaneously to the main cash crop. So this is a picture which depicts that particular process. Now what is the importance of green manuring? What we have to see, green manuring contributes up to 40 to 80 kg nitrogen per hectare. Okay, 42 kg means it is not a less amount. 42 kg, 40 to 80 kg urea is very having a very high cost. So by mere planting such green manuring crops, you can obtain 40 to 80 kg nitrogen per hectare. After that, besides it, you can it supplies nitrogen. It prevents loss of nitrogen by leaching as well as erosion, because directly the plant is buried into the soil. So the whatever the soil and whole and soil nitrogen which is present in the plant, it will be directly incorporated into the soil and automatically to the plant. So vigorous root system of green manure keeps the soil particles bound together. Okay, so the soil erosion is stopped. Green manure reclaims the saline and alkaline soil. This is also very important. Reclamation म्हणजे काय? What is reclamation? Reclamation means to improve the texture and the quality of the soil. You must be seeing that in Satara, Sangli, and Kolhapur districts, many cultivated land is converted into saline and alkaline soils. So this green manuring concept, which is a very traditional concept nowadays, the new farmers and young farmers, they have also opted this technique of green manuring, which is a very good technique as compared to adding urea as well as other chemical fertilizers. Green manure gives is the organic farming method, which is a very traditional organic farming method. It reclaims the saline as well as the alkaline soils. Saline and alkaline soil means those soils, when they are tested for qualitative as well as quantitative analysis, it is found that the EC, electrical conductivity of that soil, is very high. Means what? The soil is very saline. Okay, alkaline soils means what? Whenever you test the pH of the soil, the pH of the soil is normal soil is up to somewhat, it is up to 6.5 or more or less 6. It should be 7, but the natural soil it contains is more towards the neutral side, means 6 to 6.5, or late acidic soils are there. So alkaline soils are those soils whose pH is above 7, is 7.5, 8. Sometimes in Buldana district, the pH of the soil goes up to 10, which will render that soil unfertile, and you cannot cultivate any crops over there, because any crops means some of the crops are there which are resistant to saline as well as alkaline soils, but they will not give that much yield as compared to the normal soils. So alkaline soils as well as saline soils can be reclamated, or they can be converted into normal soils by using or planting green manure crops, green manuring crops. Okay, some green leaf manure crops serve as fodder to the कॅटल्स. ओके, त्याला आपण मराठीमध्ये म्हणतो कडबा. ओके, मीन्स दॅट इज अ फॉडर टू द कॅटल्स विच विल yield more milk as a economic purpose. Now the growth of the green manure crop is very fast. It is very fast. One drawback of green manuring crops is that it is not a very big drawback, but it is a small drawback, that these crops will grow very fast and it will not allow the main cash crop to grow. Okay, so along simultaneously, when you sow the sugarcane twigs, along with that you have to sow the seeds of that green manuring crops, and simultaneously they will grow. But you will see that vigorous system of growth is seen in by the green manuring crops. Neem is also a green manuring crop, mind it. Okay. Now green manuring is done by two types: green leaf manuring and green manuring in situ. Green leaf manuring means what? In the first green leaf manuring, we will see what is green leaf manure. Application of green leaves and twigs of trees, shrubs and herbs collected from elsewhere is known as green leaf manuring. Means what? Some agriculture or farmers, they only cultivate green leaf manure only, such as dhencha, as well as neem cakes, neem seeds. Okay, then moringa is also very good green manure crop, but it is not being it is being neglected since many decades. Okay, karanji is there. Okay, glycidia is there, calotropis is there, avis is there, sesbania. So these are the green manure crops. Some farmers they don't take the cash crops, they only take the green manure crop, and they it is also having a high demand nowadays. So forestry leaves are the main sources for green leaf manure. Then plants grown in wastelands, field bunds, etc. are another source of green leaf manure. Field bunds means what? Wastelands and field bunds, the land which is not rendered cultivated. In Marathi it is called Marran. In such areas you can cultivate, if you have some wasteland, you can cultivate the green manure crops over there, and you can get quite good income through that wastelands also by cultivating green manure crops. Now the important plant species which is used for green leaf manure are neem, mahua. Okay, it is found in forest areas, mahua, From the flowers of mahua, whiskey or you can also prepare good quality liquor. Then wild indigo is there. Then Glyceridia, Karanji. Karanji, the name is Pongamia glabra. Then Calotropis avis, which is also called as Sesbania grandiflora. Then Subabul and other shrubs are also there. Now the nutrient content of the green leaf manure. What are the nutrient contents of the green leaf manure? You can see. So plant wise it is given. The name of the plant is Gliricidia. Its scientific name is Gliricidia sepium, and the nutrient content you can see N, P, and K. And P is measured in the form of phosphorus pentoxide P2O5. So you can see 2.76% of nitrogen is there in that plant. Okay, percent wise it is given. Means 100 gram of that plant contains 2.76 grams of nitrogen. Okay, that much. Then you can cultivate mathematically you can increase the number for 1 per kg. Okay, phosphorus is quite less 0.28 and potassium is 4.60. Likewise Pongamia is Pongamia glabra, 3.31% is there nitrogen. Then phosphorus is 0.44, then 2.39. Likewise neem, if you can see, it gives also good amount of Azadirachta indica, 2.83, 0.28 or 0, and potassium is 0.35. So neem, the other main thing about neem is that you can prepare uh, good quality biopesticide also by using neem leaves, the extract of the neem leaves, as well as the extract of the neem seeds. From the seeds of the neem you can extract the oil. From the neem oil is also used as very good biopesticide, which repels the mosquitoes also, as well as many pests are. We also, human beings are also don't uh, drink the extract of the neem, if you can see, but it is quite nutritious. Then gulmohar is there. Gulmohar is a very big tree, you must be saying, and in summer seasons you can see in the roadsides that the whole tree becomes maroon color as well as some pinkish color, which is very good uh, for sight. Its name is Delonix regia. It is also very good green manure crop, 2.76 nitrogen, 0.46 phosphorus, as well as 0.50 is potassium. Then Tetroforum. Then weeds are there, Parthenium, Hysterophorus, 2.68 nitrogen is there. Then 0.68 is the phosphorus, as 1.45% is the potassium. Water hyacinth, Ecornia crassipes. You must be knowing that what is a water hyacinth, which is found on the surface of the rivers, such as Panchaganga and some areas of Krishna. Also, you will find Parthenium. Water hyacinth. Then Trianthema portulacastrum. It is also having quite significant quantities of NPK. Ipomoea is there. Then Calotropis gigantea, 2.06, 0.54, 54, and then 0.31. Cassia is also there. Fistula, which is 1.60, 0.24, 1.20 is potassium. So this is the nutritional base content of all air dry basis. Now what is air dry basis? I forgot to tell you. Air dry basis means what? You have to dry 100 grams of soil, 100 grams of the leaves of that plant, and then you have to estimate the N, P as well as K, and what will be the value by that is estimated by various types of methods. Nitrogen is done by Geldahl's method, you must be knowing that. Other methods are also there, but nitrogen is done most significantly by Geldahl's method. Then these are the green leaf manure crops, Cassia fistula, you must be seeing that. Then Leucaena leucophila, Sesbania grandiflora, then Pongamia glabra, then Peltophorum ferruginum, Azadiricta indica, Delonix regia, and Calotropis gigantea. These are the green leaf manure crops. Then the advantages. What are the advantages of green manure leaves? Green manure improves the soil structure, as I also told you before only. It increases the fertility of the soil. Friends, you can see that nowadays many or most of the farmers are using chemical fertilizers. Why? Because the results are very quick. But these results obtained by using chemical fertilizers, they are not sustainable. They are only giving you fast results, but the taste of that vegetable which you are going to eat it, or the taste of the sugar, cane juice, or any other fruit which you are going to harvest after the cultivation of that agricultural land, that is not to the optimum level by using chemical fertilizers. And that is the result why we are not getting nutritious diet nowadays, because of excessive use of chemical as well as fertilizers as well as pesticides. This is in most of my physical lectures, when in I always say that chemical pesticides means what nowadays, with the vegetables which we are eating, they contain hazardous pesticides, insecticides, fungicides, which are not needed to our body, but forcibly we are eating it because we don't have any other alternative. Okay, means what? आता मराठीत जर बोलायचं झालं तर आपण ढबू मिरची खातोय, गवारी खातोय, टमाटो खातोय. त्याच्यामध्ये बरेचसे काय असतात, केमिकल पेस्टिसाइड्स असतात. आणि त्याच्यामुळंच त्याचं रिझल्ट काय होते, इट लीड्स टू कॅन्सर. ओके, and that's why many cases are there nowadays which are after eating chemical pesticides containing vegetables. Most prone is brinjal, वांगी म्हणतो आपण त्याला. They are containing hazardous pesticides. Not a single crop nowadays is not having any chemical pesticide. All are containing pesticides. And how you can quantify them? By taking the extract of that plant vegetable, and you have to subject that liquid for residual effect, residual levels. Again, most prone is grapes. The juice of the grape is containing very high amount of pesticides in the terms of parts per millions, or it is also called as ppm. So green manuring is an alternative. It is not an alternative, it is the main technique, traditional technique of our Indian farmers to use this green manure crop. But due to the foreign companies and the advanced techniques, we have forgot what is our traditional and what is our main way of agriculture. Okay, so growing of green manure crops is in the off season reduces weed proliferation and weed growth. बरोबर आहे. वीड प्रॉलिफरेशन मीन्स मराठीमध्ये आपण त्याला तण म्हणतो, त्यासाठी तणनाशक मारतो आपण, विडीसाइड्स. बरोबर आहे. सो use of green manure crops in the field directly, or if you incorporate green manure leaves in your soil, it will not allow the seeds of the weeds to germinate, because there will be a layer of the leaves on the surface of that soil which will not allow, because germination requires a particular type of moisture as well as sunlight. That sunlight will not be available to the weeds, and that's why they will not grow. ओके, सो वीड प्रॉलिफरेशन म्हणजे तण येणारच नाही. आपण प्लॅस्टिकच्या पेपरने आपण त्याला काय म्हणतो, मल्चिंग करतो. बरोबर, ढबू मिरचीसाठी हे मल्चिंग जर आपण डायरेक्टली ग्रीन मॅन्युअर क्रॉपनी जर केलं आपल्या द्राक्षाच्या बागांमध्ये किंवा ऊसाच्या शेतीमध्ये किंवा कुठल्याही शेतीमध्ये, जर आपण त्याचं लेअर एक जमिनीवरती टाकत गेलो आपण ग्रीन मॅन्युअर क्रॉपचं, सगळं खत टाकायची आपल्याला गरजच लागत नाही. बरोबर, हे खताचे इतके हजारो कंपन्या आल्यात आता, पण त्या खतांमध्ये ॲक्च्युली किती नायट्रोजन आहे, किती फॉस्फरस आहे, त्यावर त्यांनी मागं पॅकेजमध्ये लिहिलेलं असते. पण जर तुम्ही जर एस्टिमेशन केलं तर तेवढं निघेलच ह्याची गॅरंटी आपल्याला देता येत नाही. देन root manuring helps in the reclamation of alkaline soils. Then root knot nematodes can be controlled by green manuring. Is it clear? Then green manures in situ. This is the second type of green manuring. Now in the second type, you can see that green manuring in situ is growing of plants usually belonging to leguminous family and incorporating them into the soil after sufficient growth, that is at the time of flowering or before flowering. Means to cultivate the plants of green manure in the same field in which the main cash crop is being growing. The most important green manure crops are sun hemp, then dhencha, then pili pesara, cluster beans, as well as Sesbania rostrata. These are the in situ green manure crops. In situ means in the main spot, in the main cultivated land. Then the main green manure crops are, you can see the pictures over there. Crotalaria juncea, Sesbania rostrata, cowpea, cluster bean, as well as Sesbania aculeata. So biomass production and nitrogen accumulation of green manure crops. Sesbania aculeata, age 60 days. You have to cultivate it for 2 months. All the crops here you can see 50 to 60 days is there. You have to cultivate it in hardly 2 months, and then you can uproot the plants as it is, and you have to spread it throughout the field, or you can use it for plowing. You can bury them by using plowing method or by mere in uprooting the plants as well as keeping them in the over the soil. That also can degrade the plant matter automatically. Okay, the dry matter which is being cultivated is in the terms of ton per hectare. 23.2 tons you can get per hectare. Nitrogen accumulated, you can see it is very significant. Sesbania 133 percent of kg of nitrogen is accumulated. Then sun hemp 60 days 30.6 tons 134 kg. Then cowpea 60 days 23.274 per kg. Then pilipesara 60 25.0 and 102 kg of nitrogen is accumulated. Accumulated means what? It is accumulated in the soil and it is made available to the plants, isn't it? So cluster bean is there, 50 days you have to cultivate it, then uproot it. You can get the dry matter which is obtained is containing 3.2 tons of dry matter you can get. Then nitrogen accumulated is 91 kg. Sesbania rostrata, you have to cultivate it for 50 days. Then the dry matter which is obtained is 5 tons per hectare, and you can get 96 kg of nitrogen from that Sesbania. Then nutrient content of green manure crops. You can see that sun hemp contains 2.30% of nitrogen, 0.5% of phosphorus pentoxide, and 1.8% of potassium. Dhencha contains 3.50% of nitrogen, 0.6% of phosphorus pentoxide, and 1.2% of potassium. Sesbania contains 2.7% nitrogen, 0.53% phosphorus, and 2.21% of potassium. These are the advantages. It improves the soil structure, it increases the water holding capacity of the soil, it decreases the soil loss by erosion. Then criteria for selection of green manure crops. Plants should be fleshy and soft. It should not be dry. It should be fast growing. It should be fast to decompose. It should be leguminous. If it is leguminous, it is very good because leguminous plants most of the times contain rhizobium also. That also can add nitrogen into that particular soil. Then it should not attract the pests and diseases. That plant should not attract the pests and diseases. It should not have any the fruits within or flowers or fruits within 60 days. Then it should provide nutrients needed in the soil. Not any plant can be used as a green manure crop. It should be quite small than the main cash crop. Otherwise, you will select the banyan tree. It will take years to grow and it will hamper, it will create a very big shadow over there, which will not be feasible for as a green manure crop. So, thank you very much. So, if you liked this video, please give me the feedback in the Google Forms. Thank you very much.